Thank you very much, everyone, entire family of Pokhara Research Center, American Embassy, and every fellow mentors for your kind presence over here. The evolving situation of COVID-19, it has brought uncertainty on our health, on the health and the economy across the world. Amid the new normal, we are cherishing the challenges by turning the physical camp into the virtual. But I believe for entire of us, this camp will be the best takeaway learning on this pandemic life course. If I'm not wrong, please write, of course, on the chat box. And wow, yes, inauguration ceremony कति रमाइलो भएको थियो भनेर I can see, we can see chatमा सबै participants even mentors were participating to describe how it was. It's short, sweet, exciting, thrilling, crispy, crunchy, and all. So thank you very much. यति भन्दै गर्दा चाहिँ I forgot to introduce myself formally. Namaskar, I am Prakriti Dhakal, representing Pokhara Research Center and the moderator for this session today. So moving forward, I believe there is not any way to introduce Mansi ma'am. She is already so proactive and every one of us know her already, but being on a formal session, I want to introduce her a bit well. So Mansi ma'am, thank you very much for your kind presence. Mansi Agrawal is an international corporate trainer based in Kathmandu, Nepal. She has over 8 years of experience in training students and professionals. Her clients include over 11 organizations, including Chaudhary Group, Sripradi, WorldLink, and NCL. 3 national banks, including Siddhartha Bank, Nepal SBI, and Everest Bank, and also 17 colleges. She has also trained government officers, armed force officers, chartered accountants, and dentists. She has made motivational speeches in many platforms, including the Nepalese Young Entrepreneurs Forum, Young Empowerment Seminar for Women, World Wings, and Storytellers. We're so excited to see you, ma'am. We can already see how participants are excited to see you. And I'm so thrilled to let the participants know as well that you have also given a TED Talk in September 18 entitled The Ramayana Decoded. That's such a huge privilege for us to have your presence here. And Mansi ma'am also runs a web show called Dekpardi Presents Studio Series. You can go through the YouTube channel and see all those, her sessions, her speeches, her trainings. She is the curator of Women Entrepreneurship Program. She is the charter president of Himalayan Toastmaster Club in 2015. She won the Distinguished Toastmaster accolade. Wow. And Mansi is a premium Udemy instructor having free course entitled Rock the Speech, Rock the Interview, and Rock the PowerPoint, which has over 5,100 students. And I believe, Mansi ma'am, from the day today onwards, all of us will also be counted on your students list, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, entire of us, including 50 fellows and including the organizing committee as well. There is a lot to learn from you. And I guess even mentors also agree upon me. And Mansi ma'am also enjoys writing and has been a columnist of Wow and Healthy Life magazine in the past. She was the advisor committee on the Empower Her Junior program. Such a great reading your entire bio as well. So having said that, ma'am, I want to start the session, and I guess there is many things we need to learn on many contexts on speaking and gesture and all. So firstly, ma'am, with all the questions I will be asking you, would you please help us how to do our self-introduction? And since our participants, our extraordinary participants here will be attending many professionals and corporate meetings, interviews in the coming days, and will be asked to give their decent introduction on many platforms and podiums. So ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Prakriti. I'm really, really happy to be here. I can see so many of you virtually, but there is one little regret I have. I wish this was happening in a real hall where we were all together, because I love Pokhara. Yesterday, I was speaking to Prakriti and I said, Prakriti, I have been to Pokhara almost every year since I got married. So I've been in Nepal for 14 years. And I think I must have visited Pokhara 12 or 13 times. And it is my favorite place in the country. And I wish we could have done it in a real hall with all of us together. But no matter what it is, let's enjoy this and let's make this 1 hour completely fruitful. want to request all of you, try and keep your videos on, because for me, I can see so many of you on my screen right now. It's a great feeling when I see you nodding and when I see you smiling. I can get some kind of feedback as I speak, and that really encourages me as a speaker, right? My speaking style is very interactive, and I enjoy seeing all of you like that. So thank you all of you for switching on your videos. Thanks a lot. Okay, so let's begin. So Prakriti's first question to me was, how do we introduce ourselves, right? This is an extremely important point. What happens is, we go for a meeting, I know, and we know who we are going to meet. Tara, we don't know exactly what we should say about ourselves that leaves an impact on them. Yes or no? Have you ever faced this? How do I introduce myself? What do I say about me? अनि एउटा मैले एकदमै नराम्रो खालको introduction सुनेको. Many people introduce themselves by saying, "Hi, I'm Mansi from Kamal Pokhri." Aina, your name and where you stay. A lot of people do that. But can you imagine how useless it is? Because you have very short span of time to make a good impact on the other person. Yes or no? You have just the first few seconds to make a great impact on the other person. And in those first few seconds, if you just talk about where you stay, you are not adding any value to who you are as a person. So you are not really creating an impact about yourself. You are not adding value to your perception of in the other person's head by doing that. How do you create a value? Now, there's a very simple system that I can tell you. I can tell you one or two little points that are going to help you. And this is basically something called an elevator pitch. Elevator pitch ke hunsa. In America, it started in the 60s and 70s when you had tall buildings, right? So you have a tall building and you're going up the lift. Imagine I am somebody who's made a new app. Correct? I'm somebody who's made a new app, and I really hope that Facebook one day buys my app. Now I got into the elevator, and right next to me, Mark Zuckerberg is standing. Now there are 30 or 40 seconds that I have in the lift where Mark Zuckerberg can't run away, can't go away, nothing. We have 30 or 40 seconds of time together. Now I have an opportunity. Either I'm going to ignore him and pretend that he doesn't exist, or I'm going to use these 30 or 40 seconds to introduce myself to him in a way that makes an impact on him and that makes him remember me. Yes or no? I'm not trying to sell anything to him at all. All I'm trying to do is increase my network, right? You increase your network, and what happens is when you increase your network, the next time that the other person wants something, if they remember you, they get back in touch with you, and you are just expanding your business. Does everyone agree with me or not? If you agree with me, show me like a thumbs up on the reaction or with your hands. Great, okay. So how do you actually make an impact on Mark Zuckerberg? Do you make an impact by saying, Mark sir, with a photo lina dinu na, selfie. Do you do that? Never. Don't do that at all, okay? What do you do? How do you leave an impact on a person like that? There are three things that you say to him. There are only three things that you say to him. Number one, name and what you do. Number two, what is your USP, which means what do you do well? What are you a champion at? What is something that you would like him to remember you by? Not your address, nothing like that, but something that you are a champion at, something that you do really, really well. And the problems you solve, maybe. This could also be in part two. What are some of the problems you solve? What are some of the things that you contribute to the world? What are you passionate about? And the third thing, ask the other person a question. The moment you ask somebody a question, what are you doing? You are pulling them into a conversation with you, and they can't run away from you at that point. So they will just reply. And who knows, you may build a new contact. Is everyone understood this? Let me repeat that. Now, Prakriti gave you my introduction, right? अब म आफ्नै दुईटा एलिभेटर पिच भन्छु तपाईहरु मलाई भन्नु कुन चाहिँ बेटर थियो फर्स्ट बेटर थियो कि सेकेन्ड हैन म आफ्नो इन्ट्रोडक्सन अब भन्छु नमस्ते आई एम मानसी अग्रवाल एन्ड आई लिभ इन कमल पोखरी इन काठमाडौँ एउटा यो इन्ट्रोडक्सन भयो करेक्ट अर्को इन्ट्रोडक्सन नाउ यु वान्ट टु हियर दिस वन Hi, I'm Mansi Agarwal. I'm a corporate trainer. And my USP is that I love designing trainings which have real practical impact. And as a trainer, I'm very interactive. I'm also the winner of the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. What exactly do you do? Okay, my Duita introduction there. Which one was better, the first or the second? If you like the first one, then do a thumbs up. If you like the second one, then do a clap reaction. So you have reaction buttons. Reaction button Panit Satola, if you can see that. So I can say, okay, thank God, everyone agrees that the second one was better. Yes, absolutely. So in the second one, what did I do? I told you my name. I told you what I do. I told you what I do well, what I am good at, what problems I can solve. And finally, I asked you a question that hooked you in a conversation with me. And so when I ask you, so what exactly do you do? Have you ever been for a training? Your immediate answer will be, let me think. And you will say something. And what am I going to do? We are going to start a conversation, and immediately we might build a new network. Has everyone understood this point? Has everyone got this point? I don't want to take too much time for every point because there are many things I want to share with you today. May I go on to the next point, guys? If I may, then just show me your thumbs up. If you know how to introduce yourself. Great. Now, if we were in a real classroom, you know what I would make you all do right now? I would take half an hour more. I would make everyone write their introductions, and I would make you play this amazing game where I would split you into teams and I would make you introduce yourself to everybody, and then I would make everyone vote for who had the best introduction. And every time I do this game, I always get such fabulous intros from each one of you because it's such an easy, practical, easy to implement kind of method, right? Name and what you do. What are some of the real problems you solve? What is your unique selling proposition? What are you damn good at? And finally, a question to hook the other person in a conversation with you. Is that okay? So Prakriti, with that, my first question is done. If you could ask me your next question, please.
Yeah, ma'am, there are a lot of questions I wanted to ask to you, but I was checking the time as well. So am I allowed to ask how many questions, number of questions? So, yes, okay. When, let us suppose our participant learn to do the self-introduction, but there is a second question I want to address to you is that for the effective communication, body language plays a vital role as well, ma'am, isn't it? So can you please guide us how to maintain our gesture and emotions while delivering our speech or presentations? Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
What is body language? Who can tell me? Who can tell me?
I guess communicating without talking, communicating through your body, expression.
Okay.
Our feelings, what I feel, I think we express through our body language.
Okay.
I think it's the reflection of one's personality and one's attitude or something.
Okay. Can you see how my body language has suddenly just changed? Did you see that the moment she asked me that question? Yes or no? Earlier I was sitting like this and I was talking to you and I was enthusiastic, and now I'm sitting like that. And immediately some of you are thinking, I'm like, hey, Boyota, what happened to her? Yes or no? That is body language. All of you were correct. Body language really is a sum total of all the messages your body is giving, even if you are not speaking or not speaking. Whether you speak or not, your body language is always working, right? Imagine now Prakriti is a friend of mine, okay? So suppose I see her one morning and I say, hi Prakriti, you're looking so pretty today. That is one kind of body language. And on the other hand, if I say, hi Prakriti, you are looking so pretty today, that's a different kind of body language. Yes or no? I said the same words. Hi Prakriti, you are looking so pretty today. But just the way I said those words was so different that in the first case, Prakriti felt that I'm happy, she's my friend, she's looking pretty. In the second case, I am jealous that Prakriti is looking really pretty today. Yes or no? So that is the power of body language. What is body language? Body language is using your body to express your attitudes, your emotions, your feelings, whether or not you speak. And each one of us has a certain kind of body language, right? what we must understand is to become effective communicators, to become communicators that leave an impact on people, to be able to make an impact when we speak to a group of people or when we speak in public, we must have certain body language and certain gestures, right? I'm going to give you around 5 to 7 points that are going to help you to understand exactly what body language is and how we can use it, okay? Let's start. Number 1. My session is about how to conduct meetings and how to help you conduct meetings. Let's start with understanding exactly how you must be standing when you're speaking to people. Let's assume you are in a meeting, correct? So I am speaking at a meeting, maybe I'm starting the meeting, and I am starting by standing up, right? So how exactly should you be standing? There are a few things you need to keep in mind. Number 1, can you all see this much? Can you all see my legs? Can you see my hands? I think you can, right? Never stand with your legs very far apart. Never stand with your legs very far apart when you're standing in public, because that comes across as arrogant. Do not keep your hands here either. Neither should you be doing this. Don't get your legs too close together, because the moment your feet come too close together, your center of gravity gets misaligned and there is a chance that you feel uncomfortable, okay? So the first thing about body language is when you are standing in front of a group of people to speak, always remember 2 things. Number 1, your feet. Now I'm going to show you my feet. I am not wearing fancy shoes. Please excuse me, I'm wearing chappals because I'm sitting at home. Okay, so your feet should be slightly far apart. Can you see how my feet are? Don't keep your feet like this. This doesn't make you feel very confident. You will feel very, very disbalanced when you're standing like this. Don't keep your feet like this. Also, this looks arrogant. Keep your feet slightly far apart. Also remember, if you're speaking to a huge group of people, keep your feet slightly like this. This will help you point towards and face towards the entire group as you address them. Is that okay, everybody? Yes? If you can see me, just give me a thumbs up so I know, because I'm very far away from my own screen right now. Okay, great. So keep your feet like this. This is called an L formation, right? Keep your feet like this. This is going to help you to speak to a larger group of people as you do. That's the first thing. So this is talking about how we stand. That's the first and most important basic body language rule. Now, the second rule will be, how do you sit? Let's assume you are in a meeting, okay? You are in a meeting, you are sitting with parliamentarians and you're sitting with VVIPs. What kind of sitting posture should you have? Now, I'm not going to tell you what the answer is. I'm going to show you a few sitting postures and you're going to tell me which one looks nice. Is that okay, everyone? Yes, which one do you think we'll do? A, B, C, or D? And you can put it on the chat box. Let's start. Number 1. That's A, okay? B, Kutta Hernu. C, D, E. Did you all see that? Which one was the best? A, B, C, D, or E? So I'm going to open the chat box and I want your answers. Excellent, you are so smart. Absolutely. The correct answer was E. In A, I was sitting like I'm sitting in a restaurant. In B, I was extremely nervous. I was sitting only using the front part of the chair. In C, I was sitting with my leg up, which is not okay at all. In D, I was sitting with my hands closed. We will come to hands in a while. And in E, this is how I was sitting, and this is correct. See this again. Lower back. Can you see this? Dhar. The lower back should be touching the back of the chair. The upper back, this part, should be free and should be bending towards the person I am speaking to. So for example, I am attending a meeting and I am speaking to somebody who's sitting there in this side. I will bend and I will speak like this, but my lower back will always be touching the back of the chair. Now let's assume I'm speaking to somebody here. I will bend this way and I will speak, but my lower back will touch the back of the chair. When your lower back is touching the back of the chair, it means that you are using the full length of the chair, which showcases confidence. Imagine if you're sitting like this. This showcases nervousness, right? You're so nervous. Therefore, I always say, The lower back should touch the back of the chair. This showcases confidence, and also if you bend forward slightly towards the person you speak to, they feel you're more interested and more engaged in the conversation. It's extremely important that your legs do not go up at all. The sole of your feet, always keep your feet open and in front of you on the floor. Hands should not be crossed here. This is called closed body language. This shows arrogance. Keep your hands open on the chair by your side. Keep your hands on your legs if you have to, but make sure your body language showcases that you are open and you are willing to talk, willing to engage, and willing to get into a conversation with people. Is that okay, everybody? Have you understood these few basic points? The next thing that I want to tell you about body language is use gestures. What is a gesture? Gesture is हात लाई हैन. Our hands are like naughty little creatures, के हैन. Nervous भएपछि हातमा के हुन्छ यस्तो यस्तो गर्छौं नि हामी. कपालसँग खेल्ने, लुगा तान्ने हैन. All these are signs of nervousness, right? We must make sure that when you are speaking at a meeting, when you are even sitting in a meeting, even if you are not the one who's speaking, when you're sitting in a meeting, your hands have the potential to showcase all your nervousness. Don't let that happen. Your hands should be used either, if you're very nervous, keep your hands down and say, okay, hat kehi na garnu, don't move at all, don't showcase my nervousness, okay? Number one. But what would be better is, if you use your hands by either holding a pen in them, hold something in your hands, because that way your nervousness will be counteracted. So one of the strategies could be that you have a pen in your hand, so at least your hand does not do this, does not play with your hair, does not play with your clothes. Or the best gestures that you can have when you're in a meeting is use your hands to express your points. Can you see? I'm using my hands to express my points. So when I say hold a pen, do something interesting, do you see what I'm doing? The first point, the second point, the third point, you must remember, मेरो हातले म आफ्नो pointsलाई highlight गर्दैछु. And that is the right thing to be doing with your hands in a meeting scenario. Okay? That way it showcases that you're more confident. It also tells the other person that you're more passionate. You genuinely mean what you say, because every part of you is involved in conveying the message that you are conveying. Is that okay, everyone? Have you got this point? Have you understood this point? Yes? May I go on? May I go on? The next thing. How many of you sometimes feel, damn, confidence pugena, I'm not such a confident person. I don't feel confident, right? And when you tell somebody, oh, I'm not feeling confident, I'm feeling really nervous, you know what they'll tell you? Be confident. What does that mean? That means nothing at all, right? Like if I tell you I've got COVID, you tell me, fight COVID. That's not a reply. You have to tell me how to fight COVID. Like that, I am now going to give you one tiny tip. Okay, I can go on about body language for the next 7 hours. Prakriti probably know this. I can talk about body language forever, but I will not. I'll give you one small tip that's going to help you to boost your level of confidence immediately when you want it in the short run. Okay, now, how many of you, let me ask you a question, okay? How many of you feel scared before you have to speak in front of a group of people? How many of you feel scared? If you feel scared, like do a thumbs up or show me your hand or something. I'm sure it's most of us. I've been doing this professionally for the last 9 years, even I feel scared. So if y'all don't feel scared, y'all are either champions or lying to me. I don't know what it is. Great, okay, most of us do, and that's fine. What we have to understand is, how do we let go of that fear? If we're speaking in a meeting, if you're attending a meeting and we're not feeling so confident, there are two things we need to do. Number one, prepare like a mad person, prepare, practice, do whatever you have to. But number two, right before the meeting, right before what you are doing, you can do this little trick, and I'll tell you what it is, okay? There is something called power posing or power prime posing, okay? Write this down, do research on this later if you want to. It's called power priming or power posing. What this means is that for a few seconds or minutes before you have to speak or before you have to do something that requires a lot of confidence, you will do this. Okay, and I'm not lying. You will become Shah Rukh Khan. Okay, so you will stretch your hands as wide as you can and you will stand. What happens when you do this? Let me tell you what this is. It looks funny, right? It looks strange, and you're like, ma'am, meeting bhaira cha, hall ma chu. I will suddenly stand up and I will do that. People are going to shoot me. They're going to throw me out. I'll be out of a job. I'm going to also tell you the trick of how I do it all the time, and no one comes to know. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that now. So how do you do this? Number one, why does this work? What happens is when you stretch your arms like that, for a short span of time, your blood circulation pattern changes and makes you feel broader. You are occupying more space, right? Makes you in a way feel broader, greater, and you immediately get a boost of confidence, which is not going to last forever. It's going to last for a short period of time. Use it for that short period of time. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, so how exactly do you use it? Can you stand up? Abo mero speech aundesa, ekchin, tadang. You can't do that. But let me tell you what you can do. Number one, I did this before my TED talk. I was so scared. Okay. I went to the toilet, I locked myself in, and I stood like that in the toilet. I was doing nothing. I was just standing there like that. Okay. So that's one thing you could do. Number two, what else can you do? Take a newspaper, like a real physical newspaper, hold it up like this, pretend to read it. You don't actually have to read it at all. If you are not in the meeting yet, if you are going to enter a meeting, right before the meeting, just because you want to stretch your hands, hold a newspaper like that. Can you see your hands already coming in that kind of shape? Yes or no? Hath testo bhaira cha hai na? Don't actually read the newspaper if you don't want to. Just open it in front of you. You get your hands like that. That makes a lot of difference. Number three, if you cannot do that either, you are in a meeting, remember, if you have a chair next to you, keep your hand like that. Again, can you see how my hand is moving? Can you see the shape of my hand? People don't notice this. Yes, it might look slightly arrogant, but that can help. That one little motion also helps. And if you can do nothing else, always remember you can always spread out a bit on your table. How do you do that? पानी को ग्लास हुन्छ नि सबैसँग पानी को ग्लास अथवा कुनै पेन अथवा समथिङ हुन्छ टाढा राख्ने हैन टाढा राख्ने के नजिकै नराख्ने never keep it right in front of you. Keep it far away from you and hold your glass and sit. Can you see what's happening to my hand? Can you see how it's stretched out like that? And occupying more space. The moment you occupy more space, physiologically, there are changes in your body. There are chemical reactions, and you get more confident in the short run. Try it, see it. It works every time. Is that okay? Yes. So with that, I just had to give you short body language tips. If you understood, just do a this thing or a this thing, so I know I can go on to the next topic. Is everyone's okay with that? Okay, great. I think I should go on then, right? Prakriti, over to you. Next question for me.
Yeah, Bansinam, of course, so when we start talking on not just body language, it will take hours and hours. So we have a lot to ask and audience बाट पनि धेरै क्वेशनहरु सोध्नु नै छ. So in a short चाहिँ तपाई हामीले body language को introduction को कुरा गर्यौ. So there is also some very important about the presentable भएर कस्तो attire use गर्ने. People say even color coordination ले पनि game play गर्छ sometimes in a short.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question, okay? This is Coca-Cola. You 10 rupiah jani on, okay? Assume this is not Coca-Cola, this is water, but let's assume this is a bottle of Coca-Cola. This is for 10 rupees. This is a bottle of ABC Cola, and this is for 9 rupees. Tapai kun chai kinnu huncha, Coca-Cola ki ABC Cola? Which one would you buy? Coca-Cola or ABC Cola? If you will buy Coca-Cola, do a thumbs up. If you will buy ABC Cola, do a handshake, do a clap like that. Coca-Cola, right? Most of you Coca-Cola, right? Everyone that I can see on my screen is saying Coca-Cola. Why are you saying you'll buy Coca-Cola? It's more expensive, but why will you still buy Coca-Cola? Because it's a brand, correct? And you trust the brand. Companies like Coca-Cola, Encel, YY, Nike, Adidas, any company that you think of as a brand spends not billions, but sometimes billions of rupees and dollars to establish their branding. Yes or no? Nepal ma euta particular purple color herna bittike kehi lekha chaina tara purple color herna bittike oho Encel. Yes or no? Right? What? Chiso bhane Coca-Cola or something like that is the tagline of Coca-Cola in Nepal, right? Why? Because these companies understand that the moment people recognize you as a brand, people start trusting you more. Correct? That's the first thing you need to understand. The second thing you need to understand is this. Imagine this scenario. Okay, let me give you a few names. Let me say Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, I want Monica Ranabhat. Monica, would you like to tell me what is the first word when you think of when you hear Amitabh Bachchan? What adjective can you think of?
KBC.
Okay, adjective, something to describe him.
Tall.
Tall. Okay, tall. Beena ji, Beena Koirala ji.
Number one hero.
Number
in the
one
film
hero,
industry.
superstar. Okay, great. You look like a fan. Okay. So when we think of Amitabh Bachchan, most of us have a positive impression of him in our minds. Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? On the other hand, let's think of Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump. Most of you I can see are smiling. Everyone on my screen is like, Donald Trump. You have a mixed reaction, or you have a question reaction for him, right? You may like him, you may not like him. We're not going to get into that. But his branding is like that. What does this mean? It is not just companies, but it is also people who have a brand. Yes or no? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Encel, Vivi, all these companies are spending so much money to create a brand. Likewise, every single person also has a brand. Look at it like this. You know me for the last half an hour. I have been speaking for the last half an hour only. And still, if I say the words Mansi Agarwal, some adjectives will come in your mind. Yes or no? You will have some words for me, and we've never met in our lives. Yet you have already formed a perception of me. What does this mean? Our human brain is always calculating and is always trying to form perceptions of people. And your brand is the perception that people have of you, even if you're not in the room. What do you think about me, even if I'm not there? Tonight, when you're going to go to sleep, when you think of my session, will you think, session, or will you say, oh my God, such a confident speaker? What will the brand be in your head, right? That is my brand. Your perception, what do you think about me when I'm not in front of you? That is my brand. So just like a company has a brand, even a person has a brand. And how do you create that brand? How do you establish that brand? There are 4 or 5 things that are important. Number 1, how you communicate. Okay. Number 2, how your body language is. Number 3, how ethical you are. How ethical you are, how you work, how you use your ethics. Number 4, what kind of work you do, how passionate you are. And number 5, how you look, and when people meet you, when people see you for the first time, how do you present yourself in front of them? So how you dress up is a huge part of your brand. Now, let me give you a scenario, and now I'm going to ask Kunti Adhikari ji for the answer. Kunti ji, let's say you're going for your best friend's wedding, okay? You're going for the wedding and you're wearing a nice sari and it's red and it's beautiful. Ani, you step into a puddle, okay? You step into a puddle and that puddle splashes water all over your own clothes and your beautiful new red sari is now dirty. First question to you, will you feel confident about going for the wedding, or will your brain be like, damn, I'm feeling so bad, it's looking bad? What would you think?
Obviously, I'll lose my confidence.
You will not feel confident because your mind will continuously think about that particular thing, right? What does this mean? This means that how we dress has an impact on how we feel. Do you agree with me or not? Do you agree with me or not? So if you're dressed badly, we feel bad. Let's switch it. If we are dressed damn well, we feel good. Yes or no? Do you agree with me? Imagine the day when you were dressed super professionally and you were dressed to kill. You knew you were looking good. You knew you were looking the part. Immediately you could feel that you were performing better. Have you all heard of this amazing tennis player called Venus Williams? Has anyone heard of Venus Williams? Tennis player Venus Williams, have you heard of her? She once said in an interview, if you don't look good, you can't play well. What does that mean? It means that until and unless you yourself don't feel extremely confident about the way you look, you can't perform properly. Imagine, ahileको यो meeting ma, right? If I was sitting here and I was wearing an orange t-shirt with a Mickey Mouse drawn in it, हैन, दुई तीनवटा पाल पनि थियो टी-शर्टमा, कपाल पनि मेरो एकदमै नराम्रो, अनि मुख पनि धोको छैन जस्तो, हैन, नुहाको पनि छैन. How would I feel? And how would you feel about me? You would also think, she's a trainer. Really? Can she do it? Okay. You would have a question mark in your heads, yes or no. But just the fact that I'm dressed properly, I came on time, my hair is done properly, I'm wearing certain colors, your perception of me is different. That is what you have to understand, okay? So what do I say? What do I mean when I say dress properly? I don't mean you have to buy branded clothes. I don't mean that at all. Please remember, I'm not telling you go and buy 10,000 ko luga and you'll feel good. Absolutely not. I'm wearing a very simple black t-shirt right now. Guys, I bought it for 250 rupees maybe. Okay? It's not about how expensive your clothes are. It is about how you groom yourself, whether your clothes are clean, ironed, proper, and also how you team your colors, how you team your clothes. Please remember, if you want to create your brand, let's say Ensel lai आफ्नो brand बनाउने पर्ने थियो. एक दिन लोगो को कलर पर्पल राख्ने, अर्को दिन लोगो को कलर रातो राख्ने, त्यसपछि हरियो राख्ने, त्यसपछि पिंक राख्ने. Do you think the brand would be established? No. How do you establish yourself as a brand? Consistency. Wear similar colors, okay? If you want, go and stalk me on Facebook, stalk me wherever you want. You will only see I'm wearing either blues, grays, whites, blacks, browns, greens, maroons, that's it. You will never see me in a yellow flowery t-shirt unless I'm on a vacation. That's not going to happen. Why? Because this is the brand I have created for myself. These are the colors I have created for myself. So when you are thinking about creating a brand for yourself to build trust in you, be conscious about how you want to be seen and use that. The best option, the easiest option to look more professional in a formal meeting, yes, groom well. Yes, make sure you're wearing formal clothes, nice clothes, but most importantly, try and stick to certain colors. That makes people remember you in a certain way, and slowly your brand gets established. For all the girls, remember, head to toe, everything's important. All the men, remember, your shoes are extremely important, extremely important. And the last thing I'm going to tell you about dressing, although I can again go on about this topic, I did a 10-hour session on dressing and grooming with a group of ladies last week. So I can talk a lot about it, but the last thing I'm going to tell you is this. When you're going for a very important meeting, okay, and you have a question, kun luga lagaune ta? You're going for a meeting with VVIPs and you are going to be there, you're going to be speaking maybe, you're going to be helping to organize, and your question is, what should I wear? You have two choices, comfortable or confident. Always choose confident. Comfortable ko lagi restaurant cha. Comfortable ko lagi gharma lagaera hinna milcha, haina? But if you are going for a meeting where you are going to be speaking, if you are going to be doing an important role, look for confidence always. Anything that makes you feel confident. For me, what makes me feel confident generally, I'm really tall, I'm 5'5". Not really, I'm sort of tall. But what makes me feel very confident is to wear heels. And I always wear heels no matter how uncomfortable they might be, because that makes me feel confident. And that gives me a push. Whatever makes you feel confident, do that, because that changes your perception and changes your brand as well. Is that okay, everyone? Helps you perform better. Is that fine? On that note, may I go on to the next thing? Maybe go on to the next question, everybody? If we may, can you just give me a thumbs up so I know? Okay, great. I think you've got that. Okay, Prakriti, please, let's just go.
Thank you, ma'am. This I literally forgot to watch the time, but yes, there is another speaker in line as well. So, when we are talking, especially your session about the organizing and managing meetings for VIPs, Sunday VIPs. So, we talk about big people VIPs, but we lack of the listening capacity. So, you have research pani Hussman RC's research on business communication strategies and skills. The average person listens at only 25% efficiently. So, while most people don't feel a strong need to improve their listening skills, I believe that effective leadership is active listening as well. So how can we improve our listening capacity while conducting meetings or attending meetings or any presentation? Yes, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you. So listening is probably like, my background is that I'm a public speaking coach. Okay, I'm a public speaking trainer. I work with a lot of people to help them speak better in public. I make videos. I do any kind of work in that sector. When I'm speaking to managers, when I speak to people, I realize they are only listening to give answers. They are only listening to be impressive. No one's listening to actually understand and take in the question. What happens is communication is a cycle. I say something, you listen, you respond, and you give me feedback, and that's how the cycle is completed. Most of us as trainers, it is our fault also. Most of us as trainers focus so much on the speaking business that we don't tell you enough about the listening business. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how important it is to be a good listener. If you are not listening at least 50% efficiency, the communication will take longer, right? Because you're missing out on points. The communication might also go wrong because you might miscommunicate because you haven't got the right points. So listening is extremely important. Quickly, I'm going to tell you a few tips to be a better listener and how you can actually ace those tips. These are completely practical body language based tips. These are going to help you to become a better listener immediately. Number one, a very easy thing that I do is this. I always have a pen and paper in front of me. You know why? Pen and paper helps me to listen better also. You know why? I love writing. I love writing, okay? I have on my table right now, and I'm not even lying to you, I have two writing boards. Can you see that? One has got yellow paper, one has got white paper. That's how much I love writing. Now, because I have a pen and paper in front of me, every time I'm in a meeting, every time I'm on a call, I am tempted to write. I am tempted to start writing. When I start writing, my brain gets more involved in what I'm listening because matra sunnu pardena, lekhnu pani parcha, tipnu pani parcha, right? Immediately my listening becomes better. Okay, so what happens is the moment you start writing, your hands get involved. When your hands get involved, your brain is processing faster. I feel when I write, I am also listening more attentively. Okay, for a few people, it might be the opposite. For a few people, they think, no, I want to just take in the picture when they speak. I just want to remember. It might be okay for you to do that. For me personally, when I write, I listen better. So I always do that. Try out what works with you. Number two, extremely important. When you're listening to somebody, make sure your eye contact is with them. You are looking at them. When you are looking at them, imagine this. Now they've become like a television show. Matra estari sunda kheri. What's happening? Radio just the bhoyo. Tara herda kheri. You can see and you can hear. Now it's become 2-in-1, correct? Now it's like a TV show. So what happens is you are taking in more information. You are getting more body language cues, and human beings pick up a lot from body language as well. You understand and retain more because now it's a visual as well as an audio cue for you. Is that okay, everyone? Have you got this? Next, when you listen, ask questions. Ask questions wherever you get stuck, not necessarily by interrupting, but write down your questions and ask them later. When you ask questions, what are you doing? You are clarifying. You're making sure that you get your answers. You're making sure that if there was a miscommunication, if there was a potential of some problem, you are clarifying and checking that. Ask questions. Another thing, very important, give visual stimuli. When Prakriti asked me a question, I was like, yes, yes, yes. What am I doing? I'm nodding my head like that. So Prakriti knows I am listening to her. So she is encouraged as she is speaking. Even that helps the listening cycle. That cycle of communication is helped even like that. On the phone, if you're speaking to a VVIP on the phone or something, right? Some people have an annoying habit. I am saying something and they listen like this. No. Let me know that you're there. So you sometimes have to do, yes, okay. Do that. On the phone, you must do that. Otherwise, the other person doesn't know if you're there or if you've just gone away somewhere and the phone is disconnected and they're talking to themselves, okay? So remember, it's very important for the other person to get stimuli, to get a reaction that you are listening. So in person, it could be this. On a Zoom call, it could be this. Sometimes that's why I make you do that, right? Binaji just did that as soon as I did it. Correct. So sometimes it could be this on a Zoom call. It could be this when we are together in person. And on a phone, it could be, yes, okay. This shows you are listening and this completes the cycle of communication. Has everyone understood this? Has everyone understood what stimuli means, what reaction means? The other thing that I'm going to tell you is remove distractions. We are in a world where This device is connecting us to everyone on earth, yes or no? If you really want to attend a meeting, when you really want to listen, either keep your phone away or keep it on silent, or at least keep it like this, right? With the screen on the table like that, so that you can only see the talk. It's extremely important that we do that. Otherwise, I have personally attended meetings where everyone's taking calls, like everyone's taking calls. And then they come back, they're like, where were we? And then you're going back 10 minutes to try and explain things to them. So when you are going to be organizing meetings, if possible, always request for phones to be either kept away or kept on silence, or at least kept facing downwards on the table. That's extremely important. These were my little tips on being a good listener. If you all are okay with it, should I go on to the next topic? Could I ask Prakriti to ask me the next question, please?
Yes, of course. Yeah, since we're talking about a meeting organized so there were a few events, programs, meetings we attend, एकदमै impressive हुन्छ, याद भइराखेको हुन्छ. So there might be some tips and things that we need to learn on organizing meetings. अनि my meeting set गर्दा कसरी गर्ने कुरा, writing tips देखि लिएर when you are hosting meeting VIP सँग आफूले host गर्दा अथवा VIPs को meeting आफूले attend गर्न जाँदा चाहिँ what are the tips and the things we need to learn and go through there. Thank you.
Okay, great question.
Wait a minute. Along with that, I would like to ask participants if केही क्वेसनहरु छ भने चाहिँ च्याटमा लेख्दै गर्नु होला अब बिस्तारै, किनभने टाइम अलिकति हुँदैछ म्याम.
I'll make it as fast as possible, guys. I know you all have another speaker as well, and you have one more section, but I'm just going to go as fast. Okay, I might zoom through this section. Okay, so now when you have a meeting, let's say you are organizing a meeting. Let's start with that. Okay, you are organizing a meeting. Please remember, there are two kinds of meetings: necessary meetings, unnecessary meetings. Everyone hates unnecessary meetings. Everyone. If you have any kind of work experience, and the moment I said unnecessary meetings, Beena ji is like laughing because she realizes, and she's possibly been a part of many of these. Please remember, the only good thing that's happened because of this COVID thing is that I don't have to run for unnecessary meetings, because I just tell them, guys, let's do it on Zoom, right? So you are not wasting time on that. What is an unnecessary meeting? Before you have a meeting, ask yourself, can this be done on the phone? Because we are talking not just about your time, we're talking about the VVIP's time, we're talking about the effort, we are talking about the petrol to go to the meeting, we are talking about the expenses incurred in the meeting. If a meeting can be a phone call, if the meeting can be a simple email, if the meeting can be a text message, don't have a meeting. Be responsible towards the environment, towards the economy, and towards your own self by respecting your time. Okay, so if a meeting is absolutely important, have a meeting. 100%. Meetings are a great way to learn, to discuss, to share, to come to ideas. But if a meeting is for just one point, which can be talked about on the phone, don't have a meeting. Next, before you decide to have a meeting, choose your platform carefully. If a meeting can be done virtually, these days everyone's comfortable with Zoom because of COVID. If a meeting can be done virtually, think about it. It's a great possibility. Today we are not even in the same city, yet we are talking to each other so intimately. And we are talking to each other. It's not as good as the real thing, but this also works. This is doable, and it saves costs to everybody. So if a meeting can be done virtually, think about it as well. Okay. Next, what's very, very important in conducting a meeting is, before you start organizing, before you start planning a meeting, it's very important to remember, make your agenda. If you don't have an agenda of points to discuss in the meeting, your meeting is worthless. I'm also an entrepreneur. I started a company 3 months ago actually, called Learning Loft Asia, where we do online classes for various topics. And I have a partner, and my partner and me, we spent initially in the first month of our meeting, of our company, we used to be tired all the time because all that we were doing was Zoom meetings with each other. And 4 घण्टा कुरा गरेपछि एउटा result नआउने. So we came up with a system where we would, before we attended a meeting, before we started our Zoom meeting, we would actually send a list of all the things we needed to discuss. If we have 5 points in the list, we would multiply that by 6. Okay, so we would make a rule, we would not discuss one topic for more than 6 minutes, and then we would sit for the meeting, and we have an alarm. So 6 minutes is enough if you really want to discuss properly. If I want to share my points, 2 minutes, you want to share your points, 2 minutes, I will cut you, you will cut me, I will cut you, you will cut me. At the end of 6 minutes, we should have our answers. Not every topic can be discussed like that, but 90% of topics we manage to discuss like that. And what we have managed to do is, from sitting for 4-hour meetings, now we have 36-minute meetings. We actually say 36-minute meetings. We don't say 40-minute meetings, we say 36 minutes. As a hamro 42-minute meeting. That's how we speak. Why? We respect our timing. So we always make an agenda beforehand. If you don't have a meeting agenda, your meeting is gone. It doesn't make sense. Next, be careful about the people you are inviting for the meeting. If they don't have to be there, don't invite them. It's as simple as that. Don't waste anybody's time. If they need to be there, please invite them. But before you invite anybody for the meeting, they need to know the agenda of the meeting as well. Everyone needs to know the agenda of the meeting before they come. You also must remember, if there are any specific meeting roles, like for today's class, if we think of it as a meeting, Prakriti is the facilitator or the moderator. Prakriti is also the timekeeper. Maybe there's somebody else here who is doing the entire management of the Zoom session, right? So there are 3 or 4 roles that a meeting needs for it to run smoothly. Number 1, a facilitator who welcomes people, who tells everybody a bit about the agenda, and who sort of does what Prakriti is doing today, start to finish, who handles the meeting like a host. Number 2, you need somebody who's going to be doing the minuting. So this is a person who's taking down all the notes, all the discussions, all the points that happened in the meeting. Number 3, extremely important, you need a timekeeper if the facilitator cannot manage both. So you need a timekeeper who's going to continuously remind the facilitator about what's happening. And number 4, you might sometimes need a technical person. So let's say we're on a Zoom platform, you need somebody to admit people in. You need somebody for any kind of technical problems. Or even if you are in real life, in a real life meeting, you might need somebody to set up, you know, the PowerPoint, the slides, the screen and all of that. So you might need somebody like that. And the 5th thing that's extremely important is a sergeant at arms. Now, this is the person who organizes the meeting venue. Sometimes one person does it all. Okay, I have attended meetings like that. But the moment you have a bigger group, try and assign roles to everybody and try and tell them before the meeting what their roles are. If you are conducting meetings for parliamentarians, for VIPs, there is a chance that you will have more than one person in your team to be able to do that. When you have a larger group, try and give roles. Now, what does the sergeant at arms do? Make sure there is electricity, water, tables, chairs. If there is a seating arrangement, everyone knows where they have to sit. Pens, notebooks, paper, PowerPoint, slides, connections, plug points, basic things that you need for a meeting. Is that okay, everyone? Yes? The next thing, always remember every person who's coming to the meeting, if they need to know anything in advance. Suppose today I have to make a presentation about something, right? Yesterday, Prakriti asked me, ma'am, tapayko slides sir, PowerPoint sir. I said, Prakriti, mero to style saina, I'd rather speak. I just speak. I do 99% of my sessions without any PowerPoints because I feel PowerPoints take away from what I'm doing. I like the focus to be here because I do a lot of explanations in the way I speak, right? So I generally don't have any kind of PowerPoints, but it was Prakriti's duty to ask me, and she asked me, right? If you need any expert, if any facilitator, if any faculty member is coming for your meeting, ask them what their requirements are. Ask them how they want to be introduced. Ask them that. Don't just say, oh, I know she does this, I'm going to introduce her. Always ask the other person how they want to be introduced because that makes a huge difference. They also want to establish their credibility before they start speaking. Everyone will send you their profile if you ask them, okay? So remember to ask how they want to be introduced. Next, extremely important, if you are going to be having any kind of pre-reading, let's say today we're going to have a meeting discussing the possibilities of rural agriculture in the Gandaki province, okay? And you think, if I read one particular article, your meeting, I will be more informed. Circulate that article to everybody. So if there's any pre-reading material before a meeting that you think everyone should get, always share that material. Always share it so they know. Meeting time waste garera point is haina. Always remember, give everybody all the material so that they are completely sure and they know what they're going to start with. Make this a culture. Okay, next, if there's going to be voting, decide the voting method beforehand. If you're online, we have polling systems. If you are not online, if you're in a real physical meeting, maybe you have ballots, maybe you are ready for ballots. If you have a voting, if you want to come to a concession, figure out all of that as well. Also, right before the meeting, send a reminder 1 day before the meeting or 6 hours before the meeting. Also, you yourself reach in advance. Reach 10 minutes before everybody else, because you know what happens? Imagine the guests have reached. Imagine I have reached today. I am waiting on the Zoom call. Prakriti is not there. Prakriti has gone away somewhere and I'm not being admitted. I would feel either very stressed, very anxious, or I would feel completely unimpressed by the management. So you reach early and make sure everything is working, whether it's technically or whether it's in your hall, basic stuff, okay? Next, what's very, very important is that you also start the meeting on time, keeping your end time in sight. So when you start the meeting, tell everybody today we will have a 1 hour meeting. Start with that. Set expectations. Many people forget to do this. Many people forget to do this. What happens is people think, oh, abba to pura karna paiyo. And people go on speaking. Don't let that happen. You're wasting time. Time is the most precious commodity in the world, guys. There's nothing more important than time. Do you agree with me or not? I think if I had 48 hours in a day, I would be much happier because there's so much I want to do with my life, right? I would be much happier as a person if I had 48 hours or if I had 10 hands and 10 heads like Durga Ma and Ravan put together. So that would make me happier because I could do so much. So time is important. Start your meeting by sharing that this meeting will end at this time. These are the things we need to talk about. Also, remember in your agenda, always have 10 minutes for question answers. That's very important, okay? So basic tips on how you can conduct a meeting. Prakriti.
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am. I can see many questions audience matter. And beforehand, we collected a few questions. So, I say address sum up. I want to make that one single questions from our participants. Yeah, thank you very much. So, curiosity say so in Nepal, country like Nepal, so-called Nepali time. How can we coordinate with VIP certain time allocate gareko huncha and the traffic things even in a internet ma pani aile internet hurdles aidako cha. Okay, so there is traffic in a physical traffic in virtual firstly. Secondly चाहिँ उहाँहरुकै प्रश्नहरुलाई मैले एका ठाउँमा ल्याउँदा फेरि अर्को चाहिँ how to approach VIPs approach गर्दा चाहिँ which means of communication is worthy. Second, third, sub setup, sub ready, so we did our best from our point of view, but VIP, so-called VIP, big person, आइदिनु भएन भने त्यसमा कसरी handle गर्ने?
Sorry, I'm just writing your question. The big person did not come.
Yeah, if they do not arrive. Yeah. So these sort of
with me. I will tell you. Okay.
Yeah, there are very other questions. So sum up garda, I say these are the kinds of questions our participants would like to ask. Any other questions? I guess most of the questions were already addressed already. So I to pick up garina. Sorry, participants. So ma'am, would you please reply to that question?
Yeah, I'll just tell you all one little thing. For whatever other questions that you may have that we can't answer because this is a 1 hour session, Prakriti is under stress. I know that because she wants to cover as many questions as possible. I want to give you as many answers as possible. What I'm going to do is I will send you my LinkedIn as well as my Facebook page details. Just send me your questions whenever you want to. I don't promise that I'll be able to answer everything in detail like I'm doing right now. But if we ever have another session, I will bring them up. If I can make a video on that topic, I will bring it up. If I think it's an interesting topic, that might give me a great idea to make a video. Today, somebody sent me a video idea. He said, Mansi, I love this. Somebody had shared a status message and he loved it and he wanted me to make a 12-minute video on that because that's what I generally do. And he said, Mansi, make a video on this. I want to hear your opinion. So if you have any interesting questions, you can always share them with me on LinkedIn or even on Facebook. I will definitely try my best to respond. Okay. I don't promise, but I will try. Okay. If I get 100 questions, maybe not. I have a small baby. Okay. Let's start with Prakriti's 3 questions. 3 questions rolled into one. Number 1, how do you approach VVIPs or VIPs for meetings? There is no one standard formula. Let me tell you that. And also it's difficult. Okay. It's very difficult. What I can tell you, however, is 3 things work. Number 1, some VVIPs are extremely approachable. In a place like Nepal, I find that some people are extremely approachable. Let me tell you, 2-3 weeks ago, I have a small company called Project Waves. And we had conducted an event with Mr. Mahabir Pun. Okay. And you know how I contacted him for that event? He was speaking for a 1-hour webinar. You know how I contacted him? I checked him out on Facebook, on his Facebook page, on his Facebook profile. In his about section, he has put his phone number. And I was shocked. And I'm like, isto VVIP, isto celebrity. And he wale afno phone number haldi mein. I called him. I thought about secretary ko secretary uthauncha. Haina? Aafe to kaam uthaun. I said, hello, may I speak to Mahabir sir? Bol desu? I'm like, really? Bol desu? I spoke to him for 6 minutes. I told him about our project. I told him about how it was. He said, la mala mail pathaunu, I did so. So sometimes you hit the jackpot. With that man, we hit the jackpot. Super, super easy to meet, super, super easy to talk to, super easy to approach. So that's one. Another. It might work sometimes to try and find the link, okay? What works very often in a place like ours, in a place like Nepal, is links. And yesterday I was speaking to somebody who works in the UK Foreign Office, and we were trying to get some work done in the UNDP, and the UNDP and the UNFPA. And he said, you know what, try and get a link. So I realized that this link and this Dai Bhai and this Gaon ko manche ho, Afno manche ho, doesn't work only in Nepal. It works even in the UK. He said, Mansi, do you have any links? Do you know anybody who might know somebody? Let me see if I have any links. By links, he meant network. Here we say Afno manche, there we say network, right? So that always helps. That is universal. People work through social networks. So that might be a great approach for anything. I was speaking to this person because I can see Samratji's got the SDGs behind him. There's a poster behind him for the SDGs. And I was doing something for the SDGs. This was a project for the SDGs. He said, Mansi, who do you think on your link could help with that? So he spoke about the same thing, which means it works. So if you have any links, it doesn't have to be a direct link. Let's say I want to get something done in Pokhara. I want to speak to, say, the mayor of your city, of your Pokhara, right? And I know Prakriti, but Prakriti says, Mero to direct approach chaina tara ma Pavanji lai chinsu. And Pavanji lives next to the mayor. Malai tha cha. Haina ekdam chimiki ho. And Pavanji is very close to the mayor's son. Now she will give me Pavanji's number. I will speak to Pavanji. And Pavanji will give me the neighbor's son's number. The mayor's son's number. Who knows what works, right? So this seems like a very outdated, old-fashioned approach, but trust me, yesterday when that man from UK told me, Mansi, do you have a link? I said, aha, you matra Nepal ma hoina, this works all over the world. People connect through social networks, okay? And the third is the cold approach. Go blind. Try and figure out an email address, try and figure out a Facebook ID, try and figure out an SMS, try and figure out something. A direct phone call may work with somebody as open and as receptive and as amazing and as humble as Mr. Mahabir Pun. It may not work with everybody. Try and figure out some kind of social media, try and figure out some kind of an official email address, and try and speak through that. The first try may not work, let me tell you that. Don't get disappointed if it doesn't work. Try and revise your proposal, revise your plan, and go ahead. Also remember, if you go to any VVIPs, go with some kind of proof. What do I mean by proof? Not your birth certificate. By proof, I mean go with some social proof. If you are working on a project and that project has done well, go with some proof. Talk about numbers, share a report, go with proof, send a mail with proof. What happens is that makes them feel that you are genuine, and the gatekeepers who pass the message on to them will open the gates more easily for you. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Has everyone got this point? Yes. So the link business works everywhere. But if that does not work, if you don't really have any links, try and go through the real platforms. Try and go through the official platforms and go with proof. Go with as much material as you can. Okay. Your next question was timing. I have no answer to this question. Pray to God that when you have invited somebody on time, they come on time. There's nothing you can do. What you actually can do, honestly, what you can do. Now, let me give you some strategies on what we did. There are 3 things you can do. Number one, reminder. That's a job. You have to do it. Number 2, always remember, You have your VVIP who's coming to your event, right? Who's actually the one who's invited. You take his phone number or his WhatsApp details or whatever details, however you contact him. Also, always ask for one alternative phone number. That really makes a huge difference. It's a very small tip, but we never do that. We never do that. Always have one alternative phone number. Kinaki, sometimes there could be a network problem. There could be a genuine network problem. There could be a genuine emergency. You can't get through to them, but you still need to know what's happening. You still need to get in touch with them. Always ask for one more person's phone number who is generally with them. Could be a secretary assistant, could be somebody who works in the same organization, the same office as them, or if they're working from home, maybe a landline number, maybe a spouse's number. Always make this a practice to get this number, okay? Why this helps is because, let's say there's a real problem, you should know how to get in touch with them. You can't physically go to their houses and pull them out. You can't do that, right? So you need to have some other number. Is that fine? And my third thing for timing, pray to God, because there's nothing you can do beyond some things. But you can actually do one thing. You can set your culture. Okay. Today is the first session for you all, right? Now imagine today's session, I came half an hour late. Okay. Prakriti came 20 minutes late. I came half an hour late. All of you were here. In your head, you will immediately feel, oh, hamro to jaile ni dhilo start hunsa. Right? Bholi biana, what would you do? 9 baje ko session sa? ठीक छ नि, I'll wake up at 8:45. पुगिहाल्छु. 8:45 को सट्टा 9 o'clock उठ्नु भयो. ठीक छ नि, let me brush my teeth, अलिकता चिया पनि खाएर 9:15 सम्म जान्छु, त्यो त ढिलै हुन्छ जहिले. That is a culture. That is the culture we have set in our part of the world. And I'm not going to say this is only in Nepal. Not true at all. It happens in other countries also. This is a culture we have set in our part of the world. And this culture needs to change. But how does it change? One company at a time, one organization at a time. And with that, I know I've exceeded my own time by 1 minute, so I'm getting very scared. Okay, I'll quickly answer my third question. And the third question was, what do you do when a big person does not show up? Be honest, take control, take the mic, tell people the problem, apologize, and try to do the best you can, but don't lie. Never, ever lie. Never say, oh, accident, don't do that. Be honest, try and do the best you can. And also, before you start your project, have a backup plan. If you don't have a backup plan and this happens, you get embarrassed. Try and have some sort of a backup plan for when that happens. Let's say I did not come today. Maybe Prakriti and Sujanji could have conducted the session by themselves. Maybe they had a backup plan on a few things that they could discuss with you. Maybe they would make you play a few games to get you all to know each other better, right? So that also needs to be done. So have a backup plan. I have exceeded my time by 2 minutes. I apologize to each one of you for that. But honestly, when I start sharing and when I start giving ideas, I can go on and on. And I was just telling Prakriti, in fact, Prakriti, 1 hour is too little. I wish I had a chance to speak to you all for like 12 hours. I would be able to share just so much more with you. But I know there are many more interesting things you have to learn. On that note, thank you so much. Please tell me how you like the session. What I'm going to also do is I'm going to quickly put my details, my LinkedIn, as well as my Facebook details on the chat. So there you have it. Both the links are there for you. You can always get in touch with me. I'll be very, very happy to connect with you. I am not very, very regular on LinkedIn, but I am pretty good on Facebook. So Facebook is more my thing. But yeah, you can always get in touch with me and I'll be more than happy to help you. And please do let me know if you want to say something, how you learned, enjoyed, whatever it is.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. So there are a lot of things we could not discuss here, obviously the time being, but if you want to learn more about the things, we're also supposed to talk about how to maintain our social media things and several others. So to learn that, you can go through the Mansi Agrawal's YouTube channels. There are various videos you can go through. Yes, I am promoting the videos I like.
This is free advertising for me. This is free advertising. Thank you, Prakriti. Maybe I'll treat you to ice cream next time I'm in Pokhara. Great, okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And you can also directly text her. And I'm so sorry that I could not address all of your questions, but indeed, speakers herself said that she will answer you on LinkedIn, but might take a few times to reply that, might not be prompt. Thank you very much for your kind presence, and thank you very much to entire participants, our mentors, and also thank you very much to the American Embassy Nepal Pokhara Research Center for this amazing session for pre-professional parliamentary support system. We will see you once again on second session. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really, really glad that this happened. I will quickly read all your chats before I leave. But before that, can we take a picture, or have we already taken a picture, Prakriti?
Yeah,
taking pictures?
Yeah, I already took the picture, but yes, with a smiley face once again. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's do one with a smiley face. Okay.
So it will take a few time because we need to use the 3 screens for the screen share. So smile for again like 10 seconds more. Smile. Another one. Smile. Yeah. Okay, wait. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. I love that kaching sound that happens when you click. Great. It doesn't happen on mine. Okay, I'll quickly read all the chats and leave. Yeah, Prakriti, just give me 1 second.
Yes,
I just want to read and thank you.
Yes, if you had to say anything to Mansi ma'am, it's your time to connect with her or use the strategy of all the things she told about the session, self-introduction. Yes. Yes, Susan Dai, तपाईँलाई केही share गर्नु छ भने on behalf of Pokhara Research Center Dai.
Okay, thank you, Mansi ma'am. It was wonderful. Hope our participant like this. We already have another speaker for the next session in the Zoom. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. I'm really, really glad and thankful for all of you for being here. Thank you. I hope to actually see you all when I do come to Pokhara next time. Let's hope that okay. Let's cross our fingers and hope that happens. Thanks a lot. Have a super day. Enjoy yourself. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.